You'll want to stay to the end because at the end of this video, I'm going to share you a story about Christ that I've rarely told in public, and it's going to be crazy. I'm going to show you how to emotionally neutralize anything bad that has ever happened to you, and at the end, I'm going to show you how you can get anything you want in this external world. What's going on, everybody? My name is Santonastasso, and I help people like you master their internal world so that you can have anything you want in the external world. And also on this channel, we help you build your brand, your business, and your legacy through communication and stages. Now, this is a two-parter, all right? This is a two-part. In the first part, I'm going to show you how to neutralize any emotionally charged event in your life. Now, you may be asking, well, Nick, what is an emotionally charged event? Well, if you look at trauma, specific traumas, or you look at negative events that happened in your past, those are emotionally charged events, right? So there may be a time in your past that you may not remember the person's name, you may not remember what they were wearing or what they looked like, but you always remember how that person made you feel. And so the feeling is emotionally charged and it is embedded into your nervous system. And so there's a way to obliterate or eliminate that if you're open to it. Now, the truth is, before we even get to this video, not everybody's ready for the blessing. Not everybody's ready to be liberated. And as my mouth is going here, not everybody's going to be open to receiving their blessing. But I'm going to show you how you can emotionally neutralize these events just by asking some simple questions. And then I'm going to share some crazy story about why Christ is on the background of my garage and what's the symbolism behind it. I haven't shared that story with many people, and I want to share it with you. Now, I'll give you a great example. I was about 13 years old and I was on a school bus and there was a girl to the left of me and she was making fun of everybody. And I was like, oh man, she's gonna have a field day with me. And I remember I'm 13 years old and I looked this girl in the eyes and she looked me in my eyes, and I promise you, I remember she looked at me and she said, Nick, I don't even have to start with you. You're already too messed up anyway, look at you. Now, as a 13, 14-year-old kid, what do you do in that situation? How do you even handle that? And the truth is, what if I were to tell you that the majority of thoughts that you think and the majority of the beliefs that you have aren't yours, you picked them up along the way from someone else? You believed your mom one day about something. You believed your dad one day about something. You believed that little girl or little boy or that person that bullied you. You believed them and you started to believe these thoughts. But what tends to happen is when an experience goes the way that we don't want it to go, when we have an experience and we think it's negative, we also start to stack thoughts. And you can stack thoughts in a negative way and you can stack thoughts in a positive way. So if you've ever woken up on the wrong side of the bed and you weren't aware of your focus and what your patterns were going on and what you were looking at in the world, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you're not conscious, your whole day tends to be negative. You're pissed off, you're in traffic, the weather sucks, Betty at the office or whoever at school, you start to stack and stack and stack these thoughts. And so when this girl made fun of me on the bus, I started to stack thoughts. And the thoughts that I would stack with was, maybe she's right, maybe I am disgusting. Maybe girls will never like me because I have no legs of an arm. Maybe I'll never have a wife, I'll never have a girlfriend. And because of that, I actually never went to my junior prom. I never went to my senior prom. I never pursued women. It was a massive pain point in my life, all because of one specific experience. And I developed beliefs that my no legs of an arm was a curse. It was a disability. It was the most disgusting thing that can happen to me. And I had a specific question that I always asked myself of, what's wrong with me? And whether you know it or not, all of you on an unconscious level have a primary question that you ask yourself over and over again, and that's for you to discover. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But for years, I thought that having no legs and one arm was the most disgusting thing that can happen to me based off this experience, this specific event that was anchored a negative emotion to me. And it wasn't until I was 19 years old where I asked myself a better question. You see, my friend, if you really want to liberate yourself, you must understand that your brain is a problem-solving mechanism. And your brain is always going to give you an answer to the questions that you ask it. The truth is, most of us are programmed to ask terrible questions. And so when I was 19 years old, my brain is so used to asking myself, what's wrong with me? And instead, when I was 19, I asked myself, what's right about having no legs and one arm? And my brain didn't like that question because I wasn't used to asking that. And it was empowering. It didn't want an empowering question. And when I asked myself at 19 years old, what's right about having no legs of an arm, my brain gave me the solution. My brain gave me the answer. And the answer that my brain gave me was, Nick, if a girl doesn't love you or want to love on you because you have no legs and one arm, if someone wants to make fun of you because you have no legs and one arm, if someone doesn't want to do business with you or be friends with you because you have no legs of an arm, then wait. Maybe this disability or this curse, whatever you deemed it, is actually working for you. What if your no legs and one arm is the greatest gift and it's acting as an authentic human filter and it's filtering out the type of men and women that you don't want in your life anyway? How empowering is that? It took me years to attach a different meaning to the scenario. It took me years to attach a different meaning to my body, because for the majority of my life, my body was a curse. But the moment I asked myself a better question, I got a better answer. And I want you to jot this down. When you change the meaning, you change your life. And when you change the story, you change your life as well. And so if I go back to that emotionally charged event, this is how you can eliminate, or this is how you can neutralize anything bad that you think happened to you. You ask yourself two questions. The first question that you ask yourself when you reflect on a moment that you thought was negative, and I want you to do this, and I want you to put your answers in the chat. The first question that you ask yourself is, what's the gift or what's the learning that came out of that scenario? You see, everything in your life, my friend, right now has a negative or has a positive. It has a problem, it has a gift, but you get what you want and you get what you focus on. And the gift is always there, but sometimes humans don't want the gift. And so the first question is, what's the gift and what's the learning? Now, when I go back and I reflect on that scenario at the bus, the gift of the learning was, now that I'm more evolved, I realized that that little girl must have been going through something so bad at home or so bad internally that she had to take it out on a kid with no legs but an arm. God bless that girl. Now I have compassion for her. Now I can neutralize the event, because the truth is, hurt people hurt people. And if she had to hurt me in that specific way, she must have been hurting so deep down inside that I can have compassion and empathy for the reason why she did that. I know I'm short, but I can be the bigger man in the scenario. And so you ask yourself, what's the gift and what's the learning? Like, even now, there's probably an event in your life, and I highly suggest you do this. You can even pause the video. Is go back to an event in the past that you thought was a negative. This could be a death in the family. This could be a divorce. This could be a miscarriage. This could be a financial burden. This could be a business falling short. This could be someone bullying you. And ask yourself, what was the gifts or what was the learnings? What did I learn by going through that situation? Because you can start to neutralize the event by finding enough gifts and finding enough learnings. You stop playing victim to the event and you start playing victor around the event when you find the gifts and you find the learnings. And the second question that I want you to ask yourself in moments of trials and moments of tribulations, or even if you want to reflect back at a moment and liberate yourself, is, who am I going to become because I'm going through this scenario? Who did I become because I went through that scenario in the past? And the truth is, if I look back at that event, that pain of that girl that she instilled in me, I went and I became a wrestler because I thought, shoot, if I could become a wrestler, maybe the girls will like me. So I became a wrestler. I became physically active. I became mentally active. I became an athlete. I amputated my arm so I could become a wrestler. I went on and became a bodybuilder afterwards because I wanted to fill that void. I wanted people to love me. But the truth is, there were so many gifts and so many learnings, but there was also a lot of new levels of Nick that I became because I went through that terrible situation, or at the beginning or at the present moment I thought it was a terrible situation. And so even now, my friend, you can reflect back in the past. How many times have there been things that you've gone through? There's been things that you went through, and when you were in it, you ask yourself, or you ask your Creator, why am I going through this? Why me? Why am I getting challenged like this? Why do I have to go through all this darkness? But when you came out the other side, you probably said, wow, this is one of the greatest things that I've been through because there were so many blessings, but I became a better version of myself. My friend, you only become a better version of yourself by going through the fire, by going through the dark, by going through the storm. If life was all sunshine and rainbows, you can only evolve so far. And so there's an event in your life right now that's probably holding you hostage. I don't know what it is, but I want you to reflect back, and I want you to go back to that event and neutralize it by finding enough gifts, finding enough learnings, but also asking yourself, who did I become because I went through that specific scenario? That's how you can eliminate or neutralize emotionally charged events in your life. Now, to share the story, because I led you on to share the story that I haven't shared with many people, is there is a deeper technique that we learned in NLP training. NLP training stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's the language of the brain. And so when I became a speaker, when I became a communicator, I want to transform lives, I wanted to find the most powerful tools to help people break through to the next level. And one of them was NLP. And so inside NLP training, and you may hear a truck coming by, but like, we're doing this janky, we're doing it imperfect, right? And so, can you hear it? Is it loud? No? We're good. All right. So there is a truck, but you didn't know the truck was there until they had you focus on the truck. Because what you focus on, you feel, and what you focus on expands, right? So inside NLP training, they teach you an advanced technique called timeline therapy. And timeline therapy, I'm going to break this down, is timeline therapy states that the brain does not understand what's real and what's visualized. And the brain is a hard drive. It's like a computer chip. And the brain always stores all your emotionally charged event inside of your brain, inside your subconscious mind. Now, timeline therapy is the process where you go into trance, where you can talk to your subconscious mind, and you can go back to the earliest moment where you experience an emotion. And if you go back to that experience where you experience that negative emotion and you clear it, it clears all the anger up until the present moment. It clears all the sadness, all the fear, all the guilt, depending on the sequence of emotions that you go through. And so in order for me to be trained in this exercise or in this tool so I could do it on other people, they had to do it on myself. And I wasn't a full believer. I wasn't a firm believer that this stuff worked, but I had to be open to it. And so what they do is they lay you down and they put you in this meditative state, and then they start to ask you questions. And there is a sequence of emotions that you go through, and you start with anger. And it's kind of like an onion. It's like peeling back an onion. If you go back to a moment and you feel angry and you neutralize that moment, that means you healed. But if you find enough learnings in the event and you still feel the emotion, that means that there is a deeper, darker, there's an event deeper in the past that is still holding you hostage. And so to just fast forward the story, they put me in a meditative state and they brought me back to age 3. I was a little baby when I experienced anger. And I found the learnings and I found the gifts, and they asked me, Nick, is the anger still there? And I said, I still feel angry. And so they said, subconscious mind, is there an earlier story? Is there an earlier memory that you can go to? Now, my subconscious mind said, 2 to 3 lifetimes ago. My conscious mind said, BS, past lives are fake, don't do it. And what you need to realize is that the conscious brain is always trying to talk you out of growth. That's why it'll talk you out of going to the gym. It'll talk you out of asking that guy or girl out on a date. It'll stop you from going after your business or trying to build something. It wants to keep you comfortable. So it's always trying to protect you. But I was like, I'm just going to surrender and I'm going to go with this. And so I went 2 to 3 lifetimes ago, and I literally remember, I'm visualizing this. The brain cannot decipher what's real and what's not. And I go back 2 to 3 lifetimes ago, and I'm locked up. I have my full body, and I'm locked up. I'm wearing a gray suit, and I'm handcuffed. My arms are handcuffed, and my legs are handcuffed. And they're like, why are you there? What's the learnings? And they locked me up because I was talking my talk. I was speaking the truth. I was talking some shit. And they locked me up because they didn't like what I was saying. Kind of similar to what's going on in this world, without me getting censored in some sort of way. And so I find enough gifts and I find enough learnings, and finally they're like, are you still angry? Is the emotion still there? And I said, the emotion's still there. I'm still pissed off. And he said, okay, subconscious mind, is there an earlier moment? And no BS, my whole body lit up and I became extremely certain, and I was like, it's 8 lifetimes ago. I've never done any past life work. I never believed in any past life work. And remember, the way that they teach you is whether it's real or not, if the emotion fades, you're healed. And so I go back 8 lifetimes ago, and he's like, where are you? And this is where we get into why the mural's on the back of my wall. And I go back 8 lifetimes ago, and I'm turning to my left, and I'm crying, and I'm screaming, and they're rolling the stone over where they buried Jesus. And he's like, where are you? And I was like, I don't know where I am. He's like, what's the gift and what's the learnings? I was like, I'm a protector. I'm a truth teller. I'll be back. All this different type of stuff. And he literally woke me up, and I'm bawling my eyes out, and he has no idea what's going on. Now, what you're probably thinking is, this guy is crazy. He's cracked out. He has no idea what he's talking about. And the truth is, that's probably the majority of the battle. Because I have no idea what happened to me. I don't know whether it's real or not, but what I can tell you was the emotion faded and the anger was gone. And I didn't feel angry anymore. And so I'm going to tie that into the second part of the video of how you can get everything that you want in life. From that point on, I started studying Christ. Whether you believe in Christ or whether you don't believe in Christ, I'm not trying to push that on you. I'm not trying to be religious. I'm really not religious, and I wouldn't hang out with most Christians anyway, the truth is. But when I studied Christ, what I realized is there's one really, really powerful thing about Jesus, of why he was and why he was so successful and why he has impacted millions of lives. Because the truth is, whether he was real or whether he wasn't real, do you agree he's all around the world? He hangs up in people's houses. People read books about him. He's got the most believers. Like, whether the guy was a troll or not, he's impacting the world. So that's pretty cool, right? So we can just have common ground there. Whether he was real or whether he was not, who knows? He's still impacting the world. But the common denominator about Christ and why he's out here, why he's on my mural, why he got painted here, and why he's a constant reminder is because Christ was an offering. What does that mean? Well, Christ built himself into the greatest version of himself and gave that version to the world. It is one of the greatest analogies for self-development, for personal development, for becoming a great leader, a great husband, a great wife, whatever it is. Your whole job in this human experience is to serve other people. I hate to break it to you, but this human experience isn't all about you. It's about the impact and the transformation that you can give other people. And some of you watching this right now, you've been through terrible things. You've been through terrible traumas, divorces, breakups, miscarriages, financial burdens, rejections, failures, cheating, you name it. You've been through some things. But the question is, my friend, what's the point of going through all the BS if you can't turn around and share that with the world and give it to other people? You see, what the most beautiful thing about Christ was he built himself into the greatest version that he could be, and he was an offering and gave that version of himself to the world. So that's why he's on the background of my garage. Why? Because when I come in here and I build myself mentally, spiritually, physically, it's a reminder that, Nick, this human experience isn't just for you, it's for the people that you're going to transform. And every single day you're going to build yourself into the man of your dreams so you can give that version of yourself to the world. Because the truth is, when you help enough people get whatever they want in life, you can have anything you want in life. You can have all the money, you can have all the impact, you can have the cars, you can give the houses. The only reason why I have this success, I have the house, I have the car, you're going to see the car video, it's on the YouTube page. Why I have the followers, why I have the impact, why people pay me a bunch of money is because I have built myself into the version that I would listen to. Now the question is, would you listen to yourself? Would you invest in yourself? Would you cut yourself a check to listen to you? And if the answer is no, you need to start being intentional on building yourself into the man or woman that you would listen to and then give that version of yourself to the world. And so I've rarely told that story to public, maybe one conversation or another conversation, because people probably think I'm cuckoo, but I don't care. I could be cuckoo. But this is a constant reminder that this human experience isn't just for me. This human experience is for all the people that I'm going to impact. Because it would be very easy for me, a man with no legs or an arm, to play victim, to be addicted to drugs and alcohol and soothe my way through life. But what's the point of going through all this terrible stuff if I can't turn around and give it to you? If I can't share the insight, if I can't share the perspective, if I can't share how I healed my trauma, so maybe you can heal your traumas a little bit faster than mine. You see, the whole goal of this human experience is to go through the stuff, go through the BS, so we can turn around and help others get through it faster. And when you help others get through it faster, they will pay you money, you will get impact, you will get fulfillment, and you can literally have anything that you want in life. And so, my friend, your intention is to build your 2.0 version of yourself. And what does that look like for you? Like, let me give you some thought joggers. Like, what kind of skill sets does your 2.0 version of yourself have? What are they a master of? What kind of habits? What kind of rituals? What do they eat? How do they work out? When do they work out? What kind of relationships do they have? You see, the reason why I jump out of bed faster than you with all your legs and all your arms is because I understand my assignment. I understand my assignment, and I understand that I'm here to impact lives, and the truth is that you are here to impact lives as well. Because the truth is, my story is not going to relate to everybody. My breakthroughs won't relate to everybody, my path won't relate to everybody, but there's someone out there that needs your story. And every single time that you're not sharing your story, that little boy or little girl out there is suffering because they haven't met you yet. And so you have an assignment. Your assignment is to build yourself in the greatest version of yourself and give that version of yourself to the world. And your assignment also is to go through life and go through the hardships so you can turn around and help people up. So you can condense time for other people. And I believe, like I said earlier, when you help enough people get whatever they want in life, you can have anything you want in life. But it's time for you, my friend, to pick up the paintbrush of your life. Not let other people paint it. Pick up the paintbrush of life and start being intentional about who you want to become. You ever heard the be, do, have? Most humans are backwards. They want the have, do, be. It's like, what can I have? I want this thing. What do I need to do in order to achieve that thing? But the right question that you want to ask yourself is, who must I become in order to have anything that I want in life? Because I'll end with this analogy. If you squeeze an orange, what do you get? Orange juice. You squeeze an apple, what do you get? You get apple juice. You can only produce what you are. And some of you aren't high level, so you don't produce high level things. Some of you aren't healthy, so you don't produce healthy things. Some of you are toxic, so you only produce toxic things. And so you can only attract the qualities that you possess, and you can only have the things that you're already possessing and giving to the world. And so let this be a reminder of you picking up the paintbrush for your life, being intentional about who you want to become, and every single day, whether you have legs or not, stepping into that version of yourself, building yourself into the man or woman that you would listen to, and then just like Christ, give that version of yourself to the world, and I promise you, life will never be the same. We'll see you in the next one.